Everybody, I'm going to draw for you today. Are you excited? Well, don't be, because I'm only going to do lines. I've had a lot of people saying, how can I bear to cut up that thing, the master sheet thing, that I had on yesterday. And it's not a case of doing something beautiful and then cutting it up. That was the plan. The plan was always to cut it up. So you can't see it when I show you the pictures of the thing, but I drew on it, marked it out with chalk, with tailor's chalk before I started. So this is the cloth. Okay, and these are all the different sections of cloth that I joined together to make that piece. And then I actually marked it out, so in sections. So that's one pin pillow. That's another pin pillow. Okay, do you see what I'm getting at? And then there, and there's a couple of bigger ones, you know, so they're really big, and then this one's quite long and narrow. So it's marked out in those areas. So if I'm stitching, so I'm stitching across there with French knots, and then across there with French knots. I'm not going to stitch over here and then cut through it, because it's going to be stitched within the boundaries I've marked out. But do you know what I did? I did something really stupid. I marked it out and I started stitching, and I realised I hadn't left any seam allowances, because that would be too easy, wouldn't it? And I just, you know, sometimes my brain doesn't function like it should. So I've had to mark it again, sort of to make them a bit smaller, because I hadn't allowed for the seams, and obviously that doesn't apply around here, that's fine. But where some of the small ones meet, they've lost a little bit on both sides, making them even smaller. But that, I mean, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just annoyed with myself for not thinking about that and not planning that. So that was it really. I just wanted to explain that to you. I'm not going to cut through embroidery just for the sake of it. I'm actually cutting through areas that I always plan to cut through, because within these areas where the markings are and the seam allowances have been put now, even though they were put there late, there won't be any embroidery. That'll just be cloth for seams. So, you know, it's not like I'm destroying something. I'm focusing on each of these areas and just embellishing within these areas for the purpose of cutting it out, you know what I mean? So don't want you to think that I'm just being ridiculously cruel and cutting through cloth, because I'm absolutely not. And they take such a long time that that I just wouldn't do that for this, because that was always the purpose. And I'm not sure, it's very dark here today, so I'm not sure you're going to get good pictures, photographs of today's work. But this is it still on the damp stretching board, and it was just what I added to this last night. So if I pull in a little bit, you might get to see. And for some reason, I can't seem to get much done of an evening at the moment. Like, I seem to be working in an evening, and whereas 3 weeks ago I would have achieved twice this, for some reason at the moment I'm not. I don't think it's a lot. I really don't. Like, this was already done, this was already done, that was already done. So last night I did this, put a strip of cloth on and bound it with bullion knots, and then I just did this little seam here with cross stitch, and that's all I got done last night. And I find it a bit frustrating. I don't know why. Everything just seems to be taking me longer at the moment. But anyway, I have got something to show you. I'm going to a party today, this afternoon, so I might not get much stitching done today. So you might find you get another video tomorrow, because I don't know if I'll have much to put on the blog tomorrow. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, have a day off, don't do the blog, but I can't. It's an addiction. Sad but true. I can't not do it when I'm here, you know what I mean? Just because I love it so much. So that's what the pictures are going to be of the work that I did last night, which in my opinion isn't very much really. I would have liked to have done more, perhaps finish this seam all the way up there, but anyway. So that's what the pictures are all about today.